Hey guys, hope you're well. This is a Q&A video from Instagram questions that I've got, and I have answered them in the DMs, but I thought I'd make a video and just expand on some of those questions and use it as a little bit of time when I'm just ticking over on the bike, a little bit of a recovery spin. And I just thought it would be a good use of my time and also hopefully helpful for you. First question, I've got the questions up here. First question is, what is the most common thing you see youth athletes do wrong in their S&C work? So with this, it's funny, I was in the gym today actually, and I was seeing youth athletes. The gym that I go to is a strongman gym, so I'm just trying to set the scene here. So you got lots of strongman, lots of strong guys that have been training and gymming for long periods of time, and then you get the youngsters in as well, and they think that they can jump to that straight away. So the main kind of common thing that I see people just miss out on is very much forgetting the building of foundational strength, spending time doing the squats, learning how to move properly, and just building some decent muscle mass. So you've actually got a foundation of strength to then develop on top. And then when you go to those more skillful movements where you're carrying, you're throwing, your sport specific work, it becomes a lot easier. You learn it better, you're more controlled, you're actually going to get out of the exercise what you put in. So skipping certain phases and getting bored too easily. You need to do the basics well for long periods of time, and the pros are still doing the basics week in, week out. Don't just skip to the sport specific stuff and actually forget about the meat and bones of S&C and strength training. So that would be the big one that I see anyway. Should I do my plyos before my gym session or before my sprinting session? Easiest answer, both. Both great ways of priming yourself for the session. Going to have great effects on sprint performance, doing some plyos, doing some ankle stiffness work, and then also depending on your gym session, if you're lower body work and you want some plyometrics, it's going to be a great way to really get the most out of that prep time. So doing some plyos before your strength work as well is definitely a good way of doing it, and I wouldn't do it all at the end of a gym session, so definitely do it at the start. How to fit lifting in season through injuries. Now, hopefully you're not having injuries all season, but if you're injured, you're not going to be training, so I'd expect you to be in the gym as well. So making sure that you have a clear structure, you're gymming in the week to make sure that you're rehabbing, you're progressing that rehab. Say you're in a cast, or say you've got a shoulder injury where you can't lift overhead or upper body, great opportunity to work on your CV on the bike, training your lower body as best as possible, whether that's machines, using the safety bar. These are all things that I'll be doing, and making sure you've got a structure there to stick to and progress through that rehab phase. It's a great opportunity to come back better. Think of injuries as opportunities, windows of opportunities to train, work on your weaknesses, and actually when you do go back to playing, you've built some decent strength and size and power in the gym, so you're ready for the demands of the sport. So if you are injured, you should definitely be in the gym working on other areas. Here we go then. What would you recommend to focus on when making the jump from youth rugby to adult rugby? Nothing should really change. Obviously, the game becomes more physical, but also with that it becomes slower. So making sure that you're really keeping on top of your speed and conditioning. Obviously trying to really gain strength and power, and with that will come size throughout. So nothing really should change. The one mistake that I see is the younger lads, they try and bulk up too quickly to try and match the weight of some of the senior lads that have been there for 10, 15 years sometimes. And that always goes wrong because they end up putting fat mass on, which is unfunctional, and it actually just ends up slowing them down. And then actually they're playing like a 30-year-old when they're only 19. So just don't fall into the trap. Trust the process. Work on it for long periods of time. That'll put you in good stead in 2 to 3 years down the line once you've got playing time under your belt as well. Next one from Brad. With 30 minutes max workout, strength, size, power goals, where would your focus be? I'm 38, 95 kilos, play 10 and 12. 30 minutes max, I'll be hitting a full body. And if you can do that twice a week, that's going to be more than enough at that age as well. So starting with some prep work, that's probably where you're going to put your power work in. Or you can superset your power work with your strength work. So potentially you may use a back squat and you may superset that with a drop jump or a hurdle jump for your power. You may do a back squat on one of your full body days and then a push and a pull supersetted with an accessory for a little bit of pump action. And then your second full body, you might do a single leg movement and a posterior movement for your hamstrings and your glutes. And then again, an opposing push and pull, I think is a really good way. You get your power work either supersetted with those compounds or in your prep work. And again, if you're efficient, you don't need to be doing loads of junk volume. Minimal effective dose in season. You can get away with doing 2 full bodies. That is going to be more than enough. Even 1 full body if you've got the right prescription in there. Having AC joint capsule repair in 2 weeks. Advice on getting back to off/pre-season training. First of all, just follow your surgeon's guidance post-operation and what they advise. Then it's a case of going through that acute stage of rehab, regaining range of motion, regaining strength, endurance. Is it comfortable through full ranges of motion under some load? Can you recruit it well? Is it stable? Build some mass around that shoulder and then start to introduce some chaos, some out of range positions and a graded return back into contact. The last thing you want to be doing is going from just gym work straight into full bone on bone. You want to make sure that you've got time building either sausage hits, shield hits, lots of controlled contact work, but even before contact work, I'll be working ground, grappling work, that sort of thing. So close quarters, building your resilience in your upper body, that's going to be massive. That's what I'd be doing before you go into any bone on bone or live sessions anyway. So making sure that you have been exposed to a graded return. So hopefully that helps. Exercises to strengthen ankles and reduce ankle injuries. Now, ankle's pretty unstable. I know this guy is a basketball player, so obviously strengthening the sites around it, making sure that you're really good on one leg, so lots of balance, proprioception. Is there ways that you can manipulate your single leg stands, for example, northeast, southwest exercises, take away sight, introduce some upper body movements into your balance work is going to be great, and then really strengthening that lower body as well. So bent knee calf raises, heavy, isometrics, heavy, get used to hopping and landing and sticking, building that awareness. They're all going to help, and just making sure that you're really consistent with it as well. It's always going to help. Here we go, a couple more questions. Best way to develop your aerobic base? Time in the saddle, getting into those zone 2s, actually working on that aerobic system and not just spiking with high intensity intervals. If you want to build your aerobic base, you've got to spend time in that aerobic zone 2 training zone. 150 minutes a week will be more than enough on top of your sport. So you could, that's actually quite a lot. I tend to do maybe 20 to 30 minutes off feet, but it depends how much you need it. I've probably built a decent aerobic base over the years. Little hacks that I like to do is some nasal breathing. It make you really efficient with that oxygen uptake, rather than overloading that oxygen and just creating loads of carbon dioxide and lactic acid. Actually bring in your nasal breathing. That's a real good regulator of your heart rate. So nasal breathing only. This would be nasal if I wasn't doing a Q&A. But just being consistent with that. Pick 2 days in the week where you know you can just go and sit on the bike, or a rower, or a ski erg, or even a light jog in the off season maybe. And you can just plug in some music, podcasts, an episode that you watch, a YouTube video, and just get to work, keeping that zone 2 heart rate, 60 to 70 of your max heart rate. Spend some time there, 2 times a week for 30 to 40 minutes. I'll tell you what, you'll be onto a winner, and it will help everything else as well in regards to body comp, but also when you go up into those high intensity thresholds, your ability to recover and bring that heart rate back down will be a lot more efficient. Right, last couple of questions. Should I prioritize rugby training over resistance training, or vice versa? First of all, no, you should never really be put in that position where you have to, I get it if schedules don't align, but my rugby strength work will always align after my rugby training. So making sure that your strength work fits around your training days and your match days. So rather than having a gym plan first of all that's doubling up on those days and you can't fit anything more in, make sure that it fits around. So you should never really have that predicament, hopefully, and then making sure that it really complements your training and your rugby performance. So if I train on Tuesday and Thursdays, my main gym sessions probably won't be on a Tuesday and Thursday unless that's the only time, and if I can do it in the morning I will. So maybe you gym on a Monday and a Wednesday, and then you leave Tuesday and Thursday to your speed and your training. So what I should say is rugby performance is your goal. Make sure rugby training is first on your week schedule, and then build in your gym after that. Last one, how to gain confidence after a big injury like an ACL tear apart from strength training. I'll get straight to the point on this one. I think the biggest thing is exposing yourself to the environment, the chaos, but that's got to be a graded way. Can you make sure that you're ready for that? And first things first, is your gym work, is your rehab exposing you to higher velocities, different positions, different planes, jumping and landing? If you're just doing back squats and RDLs, it's not really going to get you ready for rugby performance. So making sure that your gym-based work is actually going to translate onto the pitch, and it's going to put you in the best stead to run fast, change direction, without being aware and apprehensive of that knee. So building confidence throughout time. Last thing you want to be doing is going from one thing to another too quickly. Like if you're doing one pitch session or for 2 weeks, and then you go to 3 pitch sessions for a week and then back into full training, it's probably not enough time. I've had some lads on the pitch for 4 months before they even join in a team session. So yeah, making sure that you get lots of exposure to skill training, to non-contact training, and then layering in some contact alongside maybe non-contact training and building yourself in that way. That is the best way to go about it, and make sure you've got someone that's actually guiding your rehab as well. If you're testing, you're never guessing. So if your tests aren't lying, at least you're going to take some confidence from that as well. So making sure you're doing some reliable testing as well. So see if there's one more question. What is the best way to recover after the first week of pre-season? Your meat and bones, your nutrition, your sleep. Get them nailed down. Make sure that you're in a little bit probably of a calorie surplus, so you're not kind of feeling as if you're hungry and you're sore. You want to kind of avoid that as best as possible. Obviously, it's inevitable that you're going to be sore after the first week of pre-season. Make sure you're sleeping enough, and then all the extras after that can come, whether it's foam rolling, stretching, ice bath, sauna. They're all the 1%ers. But a decent mobility routine post-training with sleep and nutrition, you probably can't go far wrong. So make sure you're hitting all the key muscle groups: hips, hamstrings, calves, lower back, upper back. Get some rotation in there, get moving. You will be sweet. So that is me on my bike and my tick over. 16 minutes, lovely jubbly. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully some of those questions have helped you. See you on the next one.